people have spoken, and the Hot Chai Pod is back with a no-spoiler review of Nadaaniyan on Netflix, and you need to hear this.
Listen up, it's jazz.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Hot Chai Pod, a podcast where we spill all of that sizzling Bollywood tea. I'm your host, Jazz, and yes, we took a little hiatus for a few weeks, and let me start by saying thank you to all the teacups who are still having fun on the Instagram. If you aren't following, go ahead and do that at Hot Chai Pod on Instagram, because your answers on our different poll questions might just make it onto an episode, okay? But I digress. So I felt like I wanted to shake things up with this show because, sometimes there's just not that much gossip, surprisingly. Every week, is there a new story? I don't know. And then on the other hand, there is so much content, and that's kind of the heart of this show and this industry, right? So I'm like, let's watch it together. And I couldn't resist coming back with Nadaaniyan because it's been promoted for 3 months, and it's a Netflix movie. So that's what StarKid PR will get you. Speaking of which, before we jump into the review and some of the Hot Chai topics, there was this big story, I don't know if you guys saw it, from Al Jazeera, and it was all about the dirty kind of marketing machines of Bollywood. And, so much of what we've talked about here over the past year, can't believe it's almost a year now, but so much of what we've talked about, right, with the paid reviews and the bot farms and, these fake Google and IMDb ratings. And of course, pay for play film reviews, right? Oh, give me a glowing review and here's your cut. Fine. No surprises too much, but it is still, it's not great. It's out in the open and a reputable source is talking about it. But what I did find shocking from the article was that not only do people pay for positive reviews for their movies or their shows, right? But they might also pay for a negative review of a competitor film, that's coming out the same weekend, or it's a competitive actor. And I just have to say, this doesn't make me feel great, but it does make me feel vindicated. Because sometimes you see these bot comments, and I sit here and I say these things, and you're like, Jazz, are you like paranoid? Are you like these conspiracies? Here she goes. But turns out, we haven't been so far off. And, highly recommend this article. I think I'll link it in the comments below. Now, jumping into Nadaaniyan. Now, let's get it all out there first. I love a rom-com. I love a romantic movie, hence this Bollywood podcast. You guys know I love even like a kiddie kind of romance, which is how I binged all 3 seasons of Mismatched, as it came out onto Netflix, right? So the whole young college love story thing, like it's not something I just write off. I mean, even in December, I had a whole segment about my love of Hallmark Christmas movies, even though they're cheesy and they're predictable. I said, maybe Bollywood should take some lessons. And that being said, I don't think they did. But all in all, that's why I'm the perfect person to do this review. So, Nadaaniyan is Ibrahim Ali Khan, aka Safe version 2's Bollywood debut film, and Khushi Kapoor stars opposite him, and I think it's her 3rd movie after Laviyapa Disaster and Archie's Bigger Disaster. So, Hollywood gets Marvel, DC Universe, and we get the Nepoverse, but whatever. We are going to take a fair look at this because some people will say, oh, an actor's only as good as their writing and the plot is everything for a movie. And the writing overall made me, I don't know, unwell. There's a line, right? There's a corny line. It stood out to me. I took a note of it here. It says, is your last name Sharma? Because you're being Sharmila. Like it's giving Instagram caption. And to that point, there is a fair bit of treating the audience through this movie like we're dumb. At one point they're like, oh, look, the couple spending time together. This is considered quality time. And they like label it on the screen. It's like the love languages for all of you guys who don't know it. Acts of service, physical touch. Like we are watching a Bollywood movie, okay? We, the Indian audience, understand that this is the romance part. Yes, the couple is falling in love. You don't have to write it out in a caption, right? You don't have to spell it out. And side note, but the love languages are not some scientific thing. It was invented by a Christian, pastor who used to do couples counseling. The more you know. Back to the movie. So Nadaaniyan is written to be like a romantic drama. I wouldn't say it's an outright rom-com. So I'm a little confused throughout the movie why Ibrahim Ali Khan's character seems very uninterested in Khushi Kapoor.
बिल्कुल नहीं अर्जुन प्लीज 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 तो मेरी आखिरी होप हो प्लीज 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 सुनोगे तो समझोगे प्लीज प्लीज
पर मुझे लगता है कि तुम बताए बिना छोड़ोगी नहीं
I mean, I'm also not surprised. But my point is that's where it was becoming clear it's not just the writing that's the problem, right? Let's take a step back. Ibrahim Ali Khan has been dating super hot Palak Tiwari, right, for a long time now. And the fact that you couldn't like tap into that, like muse or inspiration or, oh, this is how I act when I'm in love, like, I don't know, after watching how he acts in love in this movie, maybe they should break up. I saw online as people were not happy with the thirst trapping of Ibrahim Ali Khan. It's his body shots, it's his six-pack. And I gotta say, if that's all you have, give us more, okay?
And that is good looks, and good looks.
Maybe I'm just old, or like it was a little too High School Musical. It just, to me, the screen presence was not there. I did not feel like he was so hot when he was acting, but again, it could just be because he's a bad actor. And what super did not help was the dubbing for the movie. Now, this was a little controversial, and people were kind of saying this when the teasers came out, that it didn't seem like this was Ibrahim Ali Khan's voice, and I've been hearing some whispers that he might have some speech issues he's working through, which that's for another topic. And the acting from both him and Khushi Kapoor, it's giving very like high school drama class, where my friends would take these classes in high school and they thought they were like a stage actor because they would act sad or act excited because of the script, and they're not good. And they would get an A in the class because it's drama, you know? Which brings me to Khushi Kapoor. The movie starts with her, and her scenes are very hard to watch. Let's put it like that.
Just say something. Anything. क्योंकि मेरा already एक boyfriend है.
What?
I understand when I saw some people on TikTok being like, this is why I didn't want to watch it. I turned the movie off watching Khushi Kapoor, and I decided to power through the pain just for you teacups. So she plays an influencer. Her dad in the movie is played by Sunil Shetty, who I do love, and she has some daddy issues she's like working through. And speaking of daddy issues, so Boney Kapoor, of course, here we go. Boney Kapoor comes out and said he decided, he wants to do a remake or a sequel to the movie Mom, Sri Devi's movie, with Khushi Kapoor because he's so impressed with her. After Nadaaniyan, and I don't think we watched the same movie. Okay? I'm so insulted by this. I'm like, you are literally like trashing this woman's legacy, trampling all over it, insulting her. I understand it's her daughters, but it's nothing to be proud of. Ibrahim Ali Khan, his mother in the movie is played by Dia Mirza, and all of this, the Sunil Shetty, the Dia Mirza, I kind of wished I were watching a movie about them. Take me back to 2004. Or maybe now they can be in a movie and they're playing two divorcees, or maybe they do a sequel to this movie, but both these parents get divorced and get together. Look, the thing about a rom-com is you want the damsel to get a happy ending and you root for her. And I just don't know who could watch this movie and get invested enough to root for Khushi Kapoor and her character, right? I've said it before, I'll say it again. She's playing an influencer in this movie. I think Khushi Kapoor should stick to that. I think she's kind of more likable in real life than people give her credit for. Some of the press that she's done is not totally horrid, and I'm like, maybe stick to that. You're not so bad there. I will give Khushi some credit though, because by the end of the movie, I actually think Khushi was not as bad as Ibrahim. She was not as jarring. She was not great, but it is her third movie after all. I'm not gonna lie, by the time the movie was starting to progress towards the end, I was getting very invested in the drama. I did need to see it through. I needed to see what happened. And, the acting did interfere. It was a little distracting from the plot. So that's how you know it's not just the writing. And I think it's also not just the acting, but the chemistry between Khushi Kapoor, Ibrahim Ali Khan, completely non-existent. And this is what happens when you make a movie based on your blind loyalties and your soft spots and your family friends, instead of auditioning and screen tests and chemistry tests and seeing who makes sense for this character. So overall, and we have a new hot chai rating scale, but I am going to give this movie 1 cup of chai out of 5, aka this is chai that's been sitting out on the counter, and unless you have no other options, you can pour it out. You don't need to drink it.
Rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. Out.
On the bright side, I do want to mention that I'm happy this movie gave us the song Ishq Men, and maybe it could have been used in a better movie. Maybe they could still reuse it. But other than that, not really seeing the movie as worthwhile. So for our hot chai topics today, you guys saw that Tara Sutaria's ex-boyfriend, Aadar Jain, Kapoor boy Aadar Jain, got married to Alia Advani like again and again. They had some big engagement, they had some Christian wedding, I don't know what was happening. But this time was like the actual wedding and reception and all of that. This Aadar, he is just bad news. Hey, I get it. He has the failed acting career. He's not really a Kapoor boy in that sense. And I'm sorry, but you don't got the looks and you don't got the talent to back up the bad behavior. So the backstory surrounding this guy is that basically Aadar was dating Tara for a few years, but then broke up to be with their close friend, Alia, who he just married. Now, normally, why would we care about these nobodies? However, they know the only reason we care is because of Tara Sutaria, so much so that this man, in his wedding speech, you're getting married, you're giving a little toast to your bride, he decides to talk about his ex-girlfriend. Okay, he talks about Tara. He said, the world put me on this journey. I had to do time pass for 4 years before I could finally be with the love of my life or whatever. You were forced to be with a beautiful movie star. How tacky can you be? Maybe don't bring up your ex-girlfriends because it's giving obsessed, right? This is your wedding and you're making the focus Tara Sutaria and not your bride. I don't know if it's an insecurity thing on whose part, Aadar, Aleka's, both, or they just want to stay relevant in the press. But it was giving cringe and it was giving obsessed. I think we can all agree, and he probably knows it too, that he was batting way out of his league with Tara Sutaria. And so, water finds its own level, not trying to be mean, but it's true. This guy seems a little disgusto. This girl doesn't seem like a great friend. And Tara gets to, continue being in Bollywood, young, beautiful, and hopefully she finds someone way better. And because this was in the headlines or, a lot of online chatter about how he's acting like the normal Kapoor boys and this is how the Kapoor men act. And so, of course, the Ranbir fan accounts popped up to defend his honor. And they were like, oh, Ranbir Kapoor, he's such a family man. He named his company, his new lifestyle clothing company, it's called Arcs. He named it after his wife and his daughter, Alia, Raha, Kapoor, something. It's not true. Because on the trademark filing, it says that ARCS stands for A Ranbir Kapoor Sneaker. However, Alia Bhatt did not get the memo because she went and from her account liked this post. And I just want to speak directly to her. Please stop. Please stop. It's like actually not as many people would have been paying attention until you acknowledged it.
We used to go out at night. He's like, wipe that off. Wipe that off because he loves the natural.
If you're gonna defend your man, you better not miss. Speaking of bad ideas, I watched Alia's interview on Jay Shetty's podcast, and let me say, I could not make it more than halfway through the episode. It was talking about how this is her first personal interview in 2 years, right, outside of film promotion stuff, and it was a whole lot of nothing. It was not groundbreaking. Oh, Ranbir Kapoor loves to play with their daughter. She's changed after, having a baby. She doesn't get to see her friends that much because it's hard being an actor and being away on shoots and other events, right? I had to turn it off. And normally I like to watch her stuff. I will watch her Alia B YouTube channel where she's doing her makeup and she recently posted a video of her making macaroni and cheese with her mom. And that was 10 times more entertaining than her trying to, talk about philosophy and life with Jay Shetty. And our final hot chai topic is some casting drama. Well, not drama so much as expected. after Kiara Advani and Sid Malhotra announced that they will be having their first baby. Congrats, extremely beautiful couple. She will not be in Dawn 3. She had been cast, I think, in the Roma role. A lot of people had mixed opinions about that, and it looks like she's out. So I asked you guys on the Hot Chai Pod Instagram who you would prefer to take her place, and you guys were basically tied between Tripti Dimri and Sobhita Dhulipala. You who answered other, and I asked you to clarify. You said Katrina Kaif, Janvi Kapoor, Sanya Malhotra. So, just a hodgepodge of names. I outright reject Janvi Kapoor, but I do think she might be good for an item song. And with that, teacups, we close out our hot chai. I do have a movie recommendation since I do not recommend Nadaaniyan. I recommend The Mehta Boys, which is on Prime. Avinash Tiwari, hello. And Bomani Rani, a little unexpected, a little father-son drama, slice of life, sweet, tense, awkward. It's a very good watch for streaming, and hope that there still is good content out there in Bollywood. If you liked this episode, please feel free to like, subscribe, share with all your friends, comment below what you thought of Nidanian. Does Ibrahim Ali Khan have a future? And with that, we will be back next time. Bye!
Listen up, it's jazz.